This is Cheyenne Valentine back today again with a new episode. Excuse me if you hear any noise in the background. I'm outside again. It's nice and warm out. So, the title of this video is going to be the solution to the gender war is. So I came up with the solution. The solution to the gender war, and is it really a gender war? Yes, I guess in the sense where in the black community, the black women, the black men seem to be butting heads and not listening to each other, or just they seem to have complaints about each other. So I came up with the solution. This is a solution. It's very simple. We're gonna have the black women sit down, the black men approach them and tell them what their issue is with them. The black women are going to put out a pen and a paper and write down the issues that the black men have with them, things that are reasonable, and they're going to change it. They're going to do those changes. Then we're going to reverse it. We're going to have the black men sit down. We're going to have the black women approach them and tell them all the issues they have with them, the things that they need for them to change. The black men are going to take out a pen and paper. They're going to write down all the complaints and the issues that black women have with them, and then they're going to change and do what's on the list. Okay, everybody, the solution is solved. I'm not trying to be funny. That's how simple this is. It seems to be whenever a person has a complaint about the opposite gender, it seems to be that in the black community, it's always a rebuttal. It's a but. Oh, well, I think you women need to, stop having kids out of wedlock, lose weight, wear your natural hair, be more submissive. Then the women have a rebuttal. Oh, when the women say to the men, oh, men, can you all start building businesses? Can you be more family oriented? Can you start to want to be married again? Can you stop sleeping with all these women having these kids out of wedlock? Can you start respecting women? Can you stop calling them bitches and calling them ugly? Can you build back your community? Then you hear rebuttal from the men, but I don't want to hear no more rebuttals. The bottom line now, listen to what I said. I said the women are going to sit down. The men are going to tell them what their issue is with them. The women are going to take out a pen and paper and write down those issues and then change them. The ones that are reasonable. The men are going to sit down. Have the women tell them their issues with them. The men are going to take out a pen and paper and write down what the issues are, and they're going to do what's on that paper. That's reasonable. So what are the unreasonable things? The unreasonable things is like if black men say, okay, black women need to participate in orgies, or black women should participate in polyamory or polygamy, whichever one, which I don't know the correct termination, but whichever one is the one where the man has multiple wives. The reason why I don't feel that's reasonable is because we haven't mastered one-on-one relationships. We haven't mastered a relationship where a man can handle one woman and be there for her and provide for her mentally and emotionally, financially. So how you gonna provide for multiple women mentally, emotionally, and all that? And so a man having multiple wives is not a damn solution to shit. I'm sorry, that's not gonna help the black community. You having multiple wives, I'm sorry, I don't think that's reasonable. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that if the women want to participate in that. I'm not against it. I'm not against open relationships. I'm not against a woman having multiple husbands. I'm not against a man having multiple wives. I'm not against anything. As long as you're not harming children and animals, do whatever hell you want to do. All I'm saying is that I'm talking about the black community as a whole. Okay, and you're telling black women that so for example, if black men came to black women and said we all want to put into place a system where men can have more than one wife, that would not be reasonable, because the thing is that is not going to make the women feel comfortable in that situation, for one. Number two, you can't even master one woman, one wife. So that's not reasonable. And so for the men, what would not be reasonable for them? If women came to them and said that you all have to, be millionaires or something like that, that's absurd, because, you want them to be financially stable, but are they all going to be millionaires? If every black man on the planet going to be millionaires? Probably not. So I don't know what the equivalent of that would be for men. Just something that men are not are uncomfortable with, and it's just absurd to them. So the polygamy thing with women, I know they're not comfortable with that, the most of them. And I don't know for men what will be like a unreasonable change for them, but all I'm saying is this is very simple. Each gender listens to what the other gender has to say, they write it down, and they do it. I don't know what the problem is. So what I figure, because that's the solution. The solution is you just do what the other gender is asking you to do. That's reasonable. Like I just said, that's reasonable. I'm not saying the gender tell you they put into a law you all hop on one leg and or you all jump over a bridge. I'm talking about that's reasonable. Asking someone to try to take business courses and learn additional skill and bring in more money and be respectable and not be fucking and not sleeping around on them and sleeping with all these different women and asking them to be with the woman that they impregnate and try to build up their community and not be out here drinking and smoking and doing drugs. That's not unreasonable. That's quite reasonable to me. And I think men can do that. And if men are saying to women, can you be more submissive, more ladylike, more feminine? I prefer if you wore your own hair. I mean, your natural hair. I prefer if you being, in shape. You work out, you eat healthy, and be a little bit more domestic and stuff like that. I don't think that's asking too much. Both genders are just, to me, both genders don't want to change. Like I said in another video, they don't want to change. They want the other gender to change while they stay the same. It doesn't work like that. You gravitate what you are. So whenever, this goes for the men and the women, whenever you're complaining about the opposite gender, can you look in the mirror and really say to yourself, you deserve a person that's perfect? So women and men, if you was to write down, will be your perfect mate, do you feel at the state that you're in right now, you would deserve a person like that? Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Do you feel that you would deserve that person? So then if you feel at the state that you're in now that you don't deserve that person, why how can I say this? Why are you demanding that of another person when you haven't even brought yourself up to that level to gravitate or to be on that person's level? And what my issue is with a lot of blacks, not a lot, but with some blacks, is that why is it they can dish it out but not take it? Why they can tell the other gender what they're doing wrong, but then when the other gender tell them what they're doing wrong, they get upset. Look, we all have things that we're sensitive about. So I'm gonna give you a prime example, and this is to help you when the opposite gender is coming to you with something. This is to help you get out of it being in your feelings and taking it personal. For example, let's see something that I'm sensitive about. I can't think of it. Oh, I know. I have student loans. I have student loan debt. I'm going to college, and I've heard some men say don't marry a woman who has student loan debt. Of course, I'm 33, so I've heard them complain about women over the age of 30, talking about they hit the wall. So the age thing don't really bother me because I still look good and I'm still kind of young, I guess. And then I can date a man who's 43 years old and still be 10 years younger than where date a guy is 50. And that's not, my age wouldn't be a problem. So I guess that's why I don't trip about the age thing. It's a joke to me. But I have student loan debt. So because of this, okay, if someone's talking about, well, black women, so educating all these degrees, but who wants to marry women with student loan debt? And, and that's not benefiting the man being a woman with student loan debt. So then if I hear that, I might get sensitive and start having a rebuttal and getting upset and saying, oh, well, what are you trying to say? Because just because someone has student loan debt doesn't mean, you see, instead of me just listening and understanding. See, I think with a lot of blacks, what happens is with this so-called gender war, when each gender is saying what they don't like about the other gender, certain behaviors and certain situations they don't want to be a part of. So like if one gender say, I don't want to be with somebody with multiple kids, or I don't like single dads, I don't like single moms. If you happen to be a single dad or single mom, you're probably going to feel offended because you're exhibiting the so-called behavior or situation that these people are against. And so that is what's stopping us from not listening to the other gender, because we're taking it personal. Don't take it personal. Somebody, like, for example, say they don't want to marry a woman with student loan debt. I can't get upset about that. I will have to look for a man who has student loan debt too. So I can't sit up there and get upset if a man doesn't have student loan debt and then he don't want to be with me and I'm mad about it. Like, you have to be with what you are. So if I was a single mom and a man said he doesn't like single moms and he doesn't have any kids, I'm not gonna be upset about that, because if I was a single mom, I would want to be with a man who was a single father, because he will understand what I was going through, and we could kind of make a blended family. So I'm not gonna get offended by that. We got to, another thing too, I feel what we have a problem with, why we can't get to a solution, the solution I just mentioned earlier in this video, is because when we're talking about the things that we don't like, half of the population has already exhibited it. So when men say they don't like women with, weave, that's overweight, who got a bunch of kids by different men, who got, they don't like women who, got a certain personality type. Well, there's a certain amount of black women who exhibit at least one of those things or more of those things. So when black men, you mention that's going to get under their skin and hit some buttons. So we got to understand that we need to say that from here on out, this is what needs to be changed. And so just because you are exhibiting those characteristics now doesn't mean you have to continue that. So if you're saying you don't like women who are overweight, who have attitude problem, who hair isn't natural, you want a woman with her natural hair, pleasant personality, don't have a lot of kids, and she can't change if she has kids, but the other stuff she can change. And as far as having kids, that's not a knock. She could just date a man that has kids. So the stuff that you guys are asking women to change is not something that she can't change. And women don't get upset about that, because even if you are exhibiting those things currently, you can change them, and then you will be in their mind dateable. For the men, if a woman are saying I want a man with his own business who don't have a lot of kids, you can't change the kids part. Like I said, you can just date a woman that has kids. I want a man to have his own business. I want a man who mentors young boys. I want a man that's trying to build up his community. I want a man who wants to be married. I want a man who wants to have his kids with the woman he's married to. I want a man who respects women. I want a man who isn't a skirt chaser, who doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. All those things you can change. Just because you're exhibiting those behaviors currently does not mean that you can't tomorrow or a week from now change it. So it's no point of getting offended because someone's saying those things and you exhibit those things currently. If she's saying she don't want a man that's quote unquote broke and you're quote unquote broke currently, you don't have to always be broke. You can learn a new skill set and make more money. So it's no point of being offended by a person saying what they want you to change or things that's not desirable in a mate, because you currently have those so-called undesirable traits right now. That's currently, they're asking you to change it. So it's no point in getting offended. So yeah, I have student loan debt. I'm not gonna get offended because I just found a man who has student loan debt too. I'm not finna get my pennies in a bunch over that. Yeah, that student loan debt, I can't change it until I, pay it off. But you have to, everybody, you have to take yourself out of it. Just because you're exhibiting those behaviors currently that the person's complaining about does not mean that you can't change it tomorrow. That's what this is about. This is about you changing what they say they don't find desirable about you. Things that are reasonable for you to change. Like I said, telling women, oh, being a single mom, I'm tired of single mothers. Okay, well then, to get so-called rid of single moms and single dads, we have to change the whole system. We have to change the whole system. There has to be penalties in place for having kids out of wedlock. That's all it is to it, for men and women. That's the only way to change it. It has to be a repercussion for the woman and the man to have a child out of wedlock. If you want kids to start being born to only married couples, we have to put a penalty in place for kids being born out of wedlock. I don't know what that penalty should be. I should make another video about that, but there needs to be penalties in place. That's all it is to it. You can't keep complaining about single mothers, men, when you are contributing to the single moms. When you impregnate a woman, you leave her, you have created a single mom. So what are you so upset about? So like I said at the beginning of this video, that's the solution. Okay, so what is it gonna take for us to be able to, you see how simple the solution was? Hear the complaint and then change. That's all you're doing. You're listening to the opposite gender's complaint, you're writing it down, you're looking at the things that are reasonable, and you're gonna do that. This goes for the women and the man. What is the problem? What is the problem? It's like every time each gender says what the problem is, that the other gender, the negative behavior, each gender denies it. I don't do that, or I don't do this, and why you worry about me doing that, and you should do this. Well, come on, like, can we be logical here? Okay, if you want to date and have sex and marry the opposite gender, you need to be what they want. Unless you're going to date and marry yourself, you need to be desirable to another person. When you're in a relationship, you have to, it's a give and take. You can't come into it not caring about what the other person wants, because part of being with them is giving them what they want. You give them what they want, they give you what you want. If you're not trying to change to be a better mate for this person or to satisfy this person, you need to be by your damn self. So that's why I guess it's not too many people getting married anymore, even though people still having kids in the Black community, because they don't want to change for each other. They don't want to listen to each other. Just change the issues. Like I said, if you already are exhibiting behaviors that this person doesn't like, don't get offended. Okay, change the things that you can change. The stuff you can't, meet somebody that has that same situation. If you're a single mom, if you're a single dad, when they're saying they don't like single mothers and single dads, I wouldn't even pay their ass no attention. I would say, this is my situation. I embrace my situation. Now let me move forward. Let me date someone who understands what I'm going to do. Let me date somebody who's on the same wavelength, who has children with someone who they're trying to co-parent with. That they should be dating each other. I'm not gonna let somebody shame me into, if I've done something, I'm not gonna make excuses for it, but I'm not gonna sit up here just because you got issues with single mom and let you beat me down with a stick. If I was a single mom, I'm gonna say, if you say, tell men, like men are going around telling men not to date single moms, okay, perfectly fine. And let's just say I was a single mom. What I would do is, okay, I would date the men who are single fathers. That's all. The rest of y'all who don't have kids, y'all date each other. People who do have kids should date each other. That's how I would look at it. You're not going to make me feel bad. And for the men who, quote unquote, don't have it, who are, quote unquote, broke or who are poor, why are you offended that women say they want a financially stable man? You know what to do. Like, you might not know exactly what to do to make more money, but you know that you need to learn a new skill set to make more money. You know you need to do that, right? So do that. Don't be sitting there getting offended to all these women. Fuck these hoes. They don't, they only want a man's money. They want a man who can provide. And there's nothing wrong with that. You should want that. That gives you pride to provide for your family. So instead of getting upset about that, you just go out and you do things and learn a new skill set to make more money. That's how you handle that. Why get upset because they're telling women not to deal with broke, poor men? They're telling them that for a damn reason, and you don't like being broke or poor, I'm pretty sure. So don't sit up here and make it seem like they're saying something bad. So we can be able to do this simple solution I mentioned in the beginning of this video if we stop taking things personal, and whenever someone says something that they don't like and we're exhibiting a behavior, instead of us taking it personal, we just change what we can change, and that's reasonable.